Okay, it's Wednesday, March 19th. This is an end of the day SPY recap midweek, and today on the daily chart we end up with a two-up green day that took out the previous high, reached its target, which we'll get to in a minute, essentially held above the midpoint of the prior day. And the key theme today, well, number one, there was the Fed interest rate announcement, so you had to know that was happening, and I like to be out of the market during that particular announcement and other key announcements and earnings announcements and everything else. But in terms of also what was unfolding was you had a two down yesterday that had a chance to, after hitting this target, of broadening up here, which I discussed on Monday. We had a two down that had an opportunity in compound fashion to start working towards its lower target here. And if it was going to fail to do that at any point, then it could be even a stronger probability on the reverse side. And that's what happened today, where after one day, we kind of had then a two up day. So where we failed to reach the target to the downside, it was higher probability we were at least going to broaden out to this target. So when we had the two up day, we ended up hitting that target. You could see a little bit of selling towards the end of the day. We'll see what that means going into the rest of the week. But it was a good trading day, in terms of not only the indexes, but a couple of individual stocks. The SPY gave you a clear buy opportunity in the morning, going above bar one and the pre-market highs on bar two. It made one push up, pause, second push up before the Fed announcement. So, either you took your gains into here and sat out, or if it came all the way back a little before the announcement, you could have done no worse than break even or a small gain. And then in the afternoon, obviously the announcement drew some positive reaction, and it moved right up to that green line, which was the target. Funny how it just stopped there. So there's your broadening action in the very short run. It is possible that we're making a little 1, 2, 3 retracement in this downtrend, and we can start lower, for the rest of the week. What's, again, interesting about that is if we do start lower, we're going to be below the midpoint of this day tomorrow, get a two down day. If we get a two down day, that's also below the open, which is this purple line. So that's some good continuity back to the downside with the big picture trend down. Remember, on the monthly chart, we're still red and want to see, with about 8 days of trading to go, how this bar is going to end up. Are we going to end up strongly red and expect lower into next month? Or is it going to have some kind of a, big buying tail by the end of the month, and maybe it could be the start of an uptrend? Again, I'm not anticipating that at the moment, given the fact that this weekly chart is just getting a two up week, and you can see that's essentially going to fail with 2 days to go to get up to its target. So we're just consolidating in here, and I still think at some point, whether we go up a little bit further or just kind of hang in this area, we're probably going to start trying to retest these lows again at some point. So this could be, the start of it, where we kind of hit our daily target. And you can see here any movement lower towards the end of the week goes below yesterday's low and the open of the week to turn that weekly chart back to red. And if we can get a lot of follow through to the downside, we can gain a two up weekly failure where we take out the high of that, get through the midpoint of that bar, and maybe, with 2 days to go, we get all the way down to those lows. But, I'm not expecting that either, other than the fact that, we did come up after the Fed announcement and sold off a little bit at the target. So we'll just see tomorrow, as always, where the pre-market range is, where opening price action is, and that kind of guides us as what structure is unfolding relative to our context that we have in mind, all our what-if kind of scenarios. So to me, if things want to go lower again, then I'll be ready to go to the downside. I'm not excited to follow through higher here, but it is a green bar that hit its target. And if we do head higher and hold the midpoint, then, there is a bit of a pivot machine gun up here. So I guess I would, be pretty comfortable getting back to the buy side if we kind of hold in this area and then start up tomorrow, knowing there is this pivot machine gun, knowing maybe we have a little bit of a weekly green bar wanting to form. Maybe that leads to a kind of a two up, two down kind of thing eventually. So we still have room to run to the upside if the pullback wants to surprise people and get a little stronger. So we'll go with that. But for now, it was a good day to, not only buy the SPY index to the upside, both in the morning, and it was a little tricky in the afternoon how to judge it, although we did took out liquidity here real quickly before the announcement, held the midpoint of that first bar, then obviously was pretty strong. Once you saw this green bar hold and head up, you kind of had a feeling it would take out the highs of the day, then it had a strong push up to its target, which you were always had in the back of your mind. So in some form you could have bought. I actually bought Netflix today instead, to the upside, where I bought the initial push up, and then I used that Fed kind of secondary buy type of thing here on this green bar to head higher. So there was a good trade there. There was also into that morning hour, there was actually a good trade on Meta to the downside, where I bought some puts in here after I could see the failure up top, and it ended up taking out the lows of the day before the announcement. So there was a mixed market as always. Certain stocks do their own thing, but in terms of the overall SPY, we're definitely still pushing a little higher, but we hit a target. So let's see tomorrow if we relative to the midpoint of this bar, do we go up, do we go down, or we kind of stay neutral. The more we can't really rally up stronger, the more it's going to be a pretty good sell opportunity one more time to test these lows.